Hi everyone, it's Sarah back again for another video, and today I have a few whips to share with you. I have some kind of amended 2020 plans, added I guess more than amended, and yeah, and a game. So let's start with, I'm going to start with my whips and kind of talk about why I stitched on what I did. My first one is Saguaro National Park by Awesome Pattern Studio. I need to watch my ums. I know that ums and shaking the camera and looking at the camera and all kinds of stuff. I apologize, but I'm trying. And there I go again. Saguaro National Park, Awesome Pattern Studio. I said last week that I wasn't going to do any of the semi-stained stitcher stuff, and then I was like, you know what, I'm going to do the alphabet thing, because I started really kind of delving into Jen Lee's 24 hours planner, and there's already a sheet there with A through Z, and I was like, oh, what the heck. So this was my A. I also use this for homework on magical stitches for something with the great outdoors or camping, and obviously he is in the great outdoors. So I will show you where I'm at on that now, and this is definitely a time I did not bring. So I'm going to use the back of some of these sheets. I did not bring a sheet of paper. So mostly, I think all of the stitches I got done were in this area here. Next, I worked on King Valiant's castle. This is Cloud's Factory, and I used this for 2 extra credits. I used it for the 4 element thing, so there's clouds here, plus it's Cloud's Factory, so I figured, but definitely the clouds in the piece. And then also for the It's a Small World, because it's Castle Courtyard, so there's a castle here. It's a Small World, the ride, I believe, is in the Castle Courtyard at Disney. That's what I read anyway. I've never been to Disney, so everything I can get from this is just whatever I can find on the interwebs. So yeah, I did a couple of days work on this. Made a fair amount of progress. Let's see. So, try this. There we go. So I had like the top part of the castle, the 2 windows maybe done, the side piece. So I did all of this green down in here. I did the roses here, a lot of the castle up in here, and that entire doorway, and then this moat right here. And that was for those 2 extra credit projects. I decided that for homework, the only thing I didn't do penalty stitches on was the Great Outdoors one. I decided that I needed to work on the 2 Whip Go projects that were called this month, because I hadn't done anything on those yet. So first is Dragon by Valenti Cross Stitch. And my goal on this one is to get a page finish. And I did a bunch of stuff, I think over in here, and then some of this down in here was what I worked on. So did just over 250 stitches on that for penalty stitches. And then the other Whip Go one is Cute Craft Room by Fuzzy Fox Designs. And I don't think I need anything behind this. Oops. I did this cup, I finished off this frame, finished off this shelf, and then started in on the basket full of yarn down here. I did just over 250 stitches on that one as well. I really like this project. My goal for this is a finish. I don't know if I mentioned that or not. And then my other penalty stitches I will get to in a minute. First, I want to talk about B for Semi-Stained Stitches Alphabet Soup. Beautiful bird. This is a Dimensions Gold Collection Petites that I started 17 years ago. And I counted this towards Cinderella's Castle as well. So I got a lot done down in here on the tail and a little bit over in here on this diagonal. And then that branch maybe. Yeah, I think this branch here is new. So that is the bottom before the frame meets up. So I'm definitely more than half, probably getting close to 2/3 done with the actual stitching part. Then I still have back stitching and couching and cording and all of that other fun stuff. But my hope is that I'll get it finished this year. And then my other homework, and this is the piece that I talked about last week that I was working on that I couldn't show you. This is a present from my husband. I thought maybe he might be able to put it in his new office. If not, he can just put it up somewhere here. I still have to frame it. But I did this Puffin for him. He likes Puffin. This is on a hand-painted Ada that I did. And I'm not super happy with the way it turned out, but I think once this is kind of cropped inside a mat, it will be fine. But it was the right size. And I thought it would work well with like kind of those cold ocean waters and puffins and all of that. So that is a finish, my first finish of 2020. So I'm excited about that. It'll only add like $2 to my Stitch for Stash, but that's fine. This is from, I will put the magazine down. It's one of the magazines on Readly. I'm not sure which one, so I'm not even gonna say, but I will put down in the description box below what magazine and what issue number of that is. So yeah, my first finish of 2020. I hope to give that to him when he gets home from work today, so he'll see it before this video goes live, hopefully. It takes a while to upload and all of that good stuff. And then yeah, so that's what I worked on this past week. Starting to make plans for this week, including I did pick up just some 18 count Ada from Hobby Lobby that I will use for I've decided I'm going to start the Peppermint Purple Blackwork Stitch Along that's happening in their Facebook group. I'm only 3 weeks behind, and I figured that'd be one that I could get caught up on pretty easily and be able to stitch along with it. So that was part of what I wanted with my first 2020 bigger start. So yeah, this is my plans for today. Is I will start this, and I'll start working on homework. I'll work some more this week on Beautiful Bird for my semi-stained Sane Stitchers. Why is that? Alphabet Soup. And I'm gonna try to finish the 2 extra credit. I'm hoping to do 24 hours of cross stitch this weekend or this upcoming weekend. I may end up going out of town for part of it, so we'll see if I manage to do the 24 hours or not. That is my goal, though, is to do 24 hours over the course of the weekend. We'll see. Yeah, so that's kind of my upcoming plans. The other thing that I didn't talk about that I really want to set as a goal is I'd really like to go to Galleria this year. I only live a couple hours away from St. Louis, and I was really hoping to go last year, but it just wasn't. It didn't work out time-wise. So hoping this year, this is the year that I get to go and go do some shopping at Galleria. That would be fun. But more on that as we get closer to see whether or not it's really feasible for me. And then that's all my stitching stuff. I've just been kind of working on Magical Stitches homework and doing a few other little things. Like I want to at least work on my Whip Go the month that they're active, even though I'm not forcing myself to meet my goal during that month. I would like to at least say I pulled it out, unless for some reason I get a finish before it's called, and then I think my plan will be to go back to maybe one that's been called previously, maybe one that I've not got to put as much work on as I would like, or one that's further away from me meeting my goal, if that happens. But that's that's in the future. Obviously, I've still got a long way to go on both the projects that I have picked for, that were picked for this month. So, I'm going to segue right now into my game. I am going to talk about, this is an older game. I think it came out in 2012. It is Lords of Waterdeep. This is published by Wizards of the Coast, I believe. Yes. And, trying to see if it says who the designers are. I know, and I just can't think. Peter Lee and Rodney Thompson. So this is what's known as a worker placement game. What you do is you take your pieces and you put them in spots on the board, and you do that action and keep other people from doing that action. There are some special benefits that let other people do it. So you have to decide, but those are like with special cards and stuff that you get through the game. So you have to decide what's the most important thing that you want to do each turn and do that first so that you don't get blocked by somebody else. This is a picture of the rulebook. I can show that a little bit easier than I could the box. This is the board. This is a little bit longer of a game than I typically show. This one takes probably an hour to an hour and a half. So there's the board. So like here, there's the builder's hall. If you place a meeple here, you get to build one of the buildings. So that adds extra places that you can go to, and you get extra benefit if people go to there. You get quest cards. The idea here is that you are the Lords of Waterdeep and you are sending parties out on quests. So you have quest cards that you need to fulfill. I'll show one of those real quick. So let me see if I can get that a little bit better. So Builder's Hall, you have to get two rogues and 2 warriors and 4 coins in order for them to do that quest. And the quest is going to be worth points at the end. This is worth 6. And then also, this gives you ongoing benefits. They don't all, but this gives you a benefit of, whenever you buy a building, you're going to score an extra 4 victory points. And obviously, it's the first person, or the person who scores the most victory points after 8 rounds. Let me see. It's after a certain amount of rounds. Yeah, 8 rounds. This is what one of the building tiles looks like. So here you get to take this is a warrior. So you get to take a warrior from the bank. And that'll help you fulfill a quest. In order to, oh no, you take all of the warriors on this space. So at the beginning of each round, you're going to place two warriors. And when you first put down the building, the owner will get a warrior whenever he goes onto that space, and this is what it costs to buy that tile. So you go to that space, you pay the 4 gold, and then you have little markers that show you as the owner so that you know when somebody goes to that space that is yours to get that benefit from. This is an idea. The Lords give you extra points at the end, and you'll get one of these cards. So this is Durnan the Wanderer. It gives a little bit of flavor text. A retired adventurer, Durnan owns the Yawning Portal, a tavern that stands above an entrance to the Undermountain. And so this one gives you extra points if you score commerce or warfare quests. So if you look here, this first quest that I showed you is a commerce quest. So they all have, there's 5 or 6 different types of quests. There's Arcana, there's Skullduggery. And then there's also intrigue cards. And intrigue cards let you do special things, and there's ways to get those on the board. Spread the Wealth. This one allows you to take 4 coins from the supply, and then you choose one of your opponents and you give them 2 coins from the supply. So sometimes they help other people. Sometimes people have to give you stuff. And you'll just kind of collect those off of where you place your workers. Sometimes the quest cards give you those. I'll show you a little bit about what the player board looks like. So here's where you would place your agents. So those are your magic users, thieves, clerics, warriors to complete quests. I always just put my coins in here. These are where you put your completed quests, unless they're have an ongoing reward, and then they're called plot quests, and they go over here so you can see what you get. This is where you put your Lord of Waterdeep. That is face down, so now everybody knows what you're doing. And then on this side, these are where you put your active quests, so people can see what you're trying to complete, and maybe keep you from trying to get all of those agents that you need in the game. And you play 8 rounds. You get, I believe, 3 or 4 workers to begin with, and then after the 5th round, I want to say, everybody gets an extra worker. So you kind of get more as more spaces on the board become available because people buy buildings. You get more workers to put out there. You could get another worker to put out there. So yeah, that is Lords of Waterdeep. It is one of my, it's a pretty easy introductory worker placement game. Worker placement is one of my all-time favorite board game mechanisms, and I'll probably share some bigger, heavier ones with you at a later date. But this was the first worker placement that we put into our collection. We played it the other night, so I thought it'd be a good one to talk about. It's fun, it's quick, and it's pretty accessible for somebody who's never played a worker placement game. So I thought I would share that with you today. It is, Waterdeep is a town in the Forbidden Realms. Forgotten Realms. I don't know why I always want to say Forbidden. Forgotten Realms, which is an established world in Dungeons and Dragons. And this is pretty fun. It's just got, it's supposed to be like a map of the city where you take your workers and go to different things to get different bonuses and rewards. So you'll go to certain spaces on the board to recruit your different adventurers. You'll go to get intrigue cards. You'll go to get coins. And there's a little bit of flavor text with all of the cards and stuff, which is always fun. So yeah, Lords of Waterdeep. If you've played it, I'd love to know what your thoughts of it are. If you haven't and you're looking for something fun to play, this is a good one, especially if you're into Dungeons and Dragons, which I am into that kind of game. So, fun game. I guess that's all I have to talk about today. I knew it was going to be another short video. I think that's what happens when I do weekly videos, is that they're short, but that's okay. I like that. Yeah, that's it. Y'all have a great week, and I will see you next time. Bye.